Hello, I'm recording on my laptop today because my computer, my desktop computer, have some problems with the sound. I can't still say what it is. It's just weird static noise or something like that. So I'm gonna show everything here. Today my plan is to containerize my application, and this is my agenda. So I was planning to do that yesterday, but it was Christmas, I was very busy and stuff like that. So we're gonna add in containers application using Docker Compose, and then add database. So we're gonna have persistent layer with volumes. Then we're gonna run this on Raspberry Pi, and we're gonna configure the network. So my router gonna forward the port from outside. When someone want to reach my website from somewhere in the world, he can reach it from there. And then I'm gonna configure the domain name, which is gonna be I/by1 random generated, because I don't really have any ideas at the minute. It's just £1 per year, so it's not that big deal at the minute, and it's gonna be allies.co.uk, which I'm gonna show how to forward when someone want to reach the allies.co.uk is going to reach your website. And that's it, so we can start. First of all, I want to show yesterday I've made a mock-up of what is going to be done, and I containerize it. Today I'm gonna just start from scratch, but basically what we have to do is do that Docker Compose, change the connection strings, and the application is running very good on my machine. So I hope for everyone is gonna work. It may differ from computer to computer, but it's not gonna be that much though. So let me show now what's going on. I achieved my persistent layer of data. So the application is running. We have nothing in the database because I've just register, and for me it's working. Doesn't matter how many times I start or stop the program, it's working. On the last lection, actually, we've left to do that books rented, which is gonna show the name of the guy who take the book and how many books he take. As soon as he off-hire the book, then this one here is working, and this is showing only the books which are hired at the moment, not like total statistic. Maybe I'm too lazy to populate now the table because I just migrated and it's all brand new. And we have to add members, which we can sort name, surname. We can add books, we can sort title of books, author of books, location in the library. Then we can do categories, which in our situation are only 3. Landing is pretty much when you land it, who is landing it, name of the book, and date of landing. Then when you want to return, you're gonna have a button here which say return, and you just return. Then the system is automatically calculating the amount which you own, and also all this stuff can be seen in previous lectures, like previous 2 or 3 lectures. Everything there is sorted and explained. I have to give credit here to Mr. Stoyan Cheresharov, because I've learned this for the database from his tutorial. I think is a lecture 54 Lection 54. Yeah, this is the lection which give me how to add database, volumes. It's a bit different from my situation, which is normal. Every program is different, and it is nothing nothing the same. So you have to be a bit creative, but that's why you're getting the big money. So let me first start with Acer. Oh no, I'm in the wrong spot. I'm gonna close the solution. I have a remote repository which I'm using to wow, okay, I forgot. So this is my remote repository. I'm using DevOps, and I'm gonna just download my last version, which is working, and from the repos, because yesterday I was doing everything in my local machine, and now I'm just gonna it's here, and now because I'm starting to show everything from scratch, actually I can use, no, I'm not gonna use that one. I'm gonna use something else. Okay, library manager. Okay, I've downloaded too many times. So I'm gonna download now. Download as a zip. This is when I authorize. This is actually my last commit. It was last Wednesday when I add landing statistic and showing members properly. So I'm just gonna okay, I'm gonna leave it here. Or now I'm just gonna use my default folder, which is users, George, source, repos, and should be here. This is the Visual Studio default folder, by the way. Okay, so I'm gonna have my program here up and running in a second. So here the application is still not containerized. You can see the bare application. If I run it with Visual Studio, it's going to ask me to migrate now the database, because I don't have the database here. It's on my other machine, which I was using, and this is my laptop. So I'm just gonna register here. Maybe it's not gonna work as well because I don't have the database. Yeah. Okay. However, let me see. Connected services, because yesterday I've deleted my Acer profile because it takes me some decent amount of money from my account. Okay, so here because I delete my publish now connected services are now a little bit confused. I don't know if I'm gonna, to be honest, okay, just for learning purposes, I'm just gonna take the connection string from here. Oh, come on. Okay. Which, I don't know why they do it that way. It's a little bit weird for me, because now I have that problem yesterday in Raspberry Pi, that connected services is not existing, and or is existing somewhere in some weird Microsoft things. And when you are on Linux, on my Raspberry Pi for example, I can't find these connected services, not in this view. It might be somewhere, I understand that. Now I'm gonna configure the database. I'm just gonna put the string name, which is pretty much the same. And now when it's configured, I should be able to use localDB. I can remove this dependency because it's now it's all SQL Server database. Okay, I may have to remove this one actually, yes. So I'm gonna configure this one. Yep. Now when I run, it should be alright. Come on. Okay, that's not gonna work. However, this is not problem because we're gonna ignore that everything here. We're gonna ignore it, and we're gonna use different database which is in containers. And if that application is starting now or not doesn't really matter at the minute, because as soon as we containerize it, it's not gonna start anyway, and we have to change everything. So I'm gonna use the generator, code generator, which is to add Docker Compose, container orchestrator support. This is scaffolding your application and is giving you a Docker file. I'm gonna show in a minute. So as soon as this is done, you're gonna have Docker Compose. This is Docker Compose override file. In the program itself, you have Docker file with instructions to download latest ASP.NET or the version you want. I've read somewhere that latest is not good practice anymore, and they don't do like .NET, ASP.NET latest. They do just the release you need, and you build it that way, because latest may not work with the previous version of the program, and that's why they stopped doing it. They used to do it before, or at least as far as I know. I might be wrong. So now my application is containerized and don't have database. So what I'm gonna show now here is my Docker containers. So without me running the application, I have that container already spinned here. Yeah, so I have my container spin is all done by Microsoft. when you do your containerization. But now I don't have any database running. In order to have database running, you should have SQL Server container, which we're gonna set up now in that video. So now, because it's new for me and now it's starting from somewhere else, let's say, you have to confirm the certificates, and when I try to log in, I'm gonna have a database error. I type whatever, it's trying to connect the database now, and it's not gonna happen because you don't have any database now, and no any SQL, any tool running on the back. So basically what we have to do is a little bit work in our Docker Compose file. Let me see from my agenda now. So we're gonna containerize application, which we did at the moment. We add Docker Compose. So now we're gonna add this one to our Docker Compose file, and basically I'll explain what that means. So here is say your library management program depends on database. And this is just variable. And this one is that database. So you depend on this one. Now you're saying that you have to download this image, and your environment you're gonna connect as super user, or SA is called in SQL. Your password, so your username is gonna be SA, and your password gonna be pass1234, and you have to accept user agreement. Yes. So now when we run the application, it's gonna run and you're gonna have a database. Now what we don't have is persistent layer, because now you're spinning container which is doing database for you. Okay, something's wrong. Okay, I didn't leave it, to be honest, to build the application. I just started, because now it's working different. As soon as you do something, you have to wait a bit, so it's gonna create all the images and stuff like that, and then you can run your application. Okay, however, what I was about to say, okay, anyway, so let's start a container. Okay, now we should have that database running, but then we don't have persistent layer of data, because now when I register, it's gonna register me. Okay, it's not gonna register me because I forgot to change the string, which is my fault. Sorry about it. So in app settings you have connection string, which you have to change. Let me see if I have it in my notes. No, I don't, but because I have my program from yesterday, I'm gonna take it from there, and I'm gonna use it with let's say Visual Studio Code. It's in app settings JSON. App setting JSON. I'm just gonna run with code just to see what's the connection string. Here you're basically telling your username, your password, and your server is DB. So now we should have that up and running. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on? I messed somewhere. I messed it big time. Yep. Why is pasting with all that stuff? I don't understand. Maybe I copy wrong. No. Missing a column. What the hell? Come on. Oh, okay. Now it's better. Okay, this is my bad completely. Now we are still relevant to this service dependencies, which I don't know where this is coming from and how is this working, to be honest, but it's driving me crazy. I'll try to find out, but not now, because it may take days, years, and now we should be able to run this with no problem, because now we have connection string to our database which we are using and which name is DB. Now because I accept that you were before, now we should be able to register with some let's say pass 1 2 3 4 $, pass 1 2 3 4 $. Now when we register, is all running. We just have to apply migrations. We do apply our migrations and we refresh the page. Now we confirm our account and we are in. We can work with the program. The program is containerized and is up and running. But when we stop the program, so now if I say docker ps, I have my library management program which is running in container, and I have my SQL server which is running in container as well. But when I stop the containers, the data is existing only in this container or in this container. I don't know where, but is existing in container, which is how to say, volatile. This container is volatile, and as soon as we stop it, we lose our data. We don't want that. We want persistent layer in our application, which is called volumes in Docker. Now when I stop my application and I've checked, and I'm gonna check now if PowerShell Docker, so I still have these containers running. Let me close the solution. If I close the solution, I think they're gonna stop. Yeah, the containers are not running anymore. And now when I start my application again, or I load it, it's gonna take some time. It always does. Okay, they are ready. Now when I run docker compose, Okay, now again I need certificates because my computer see that's running for first time. And now when I try to rent something or try to connect to the database, I know I just type something random. I don't have to type anything because it's gonna quickly start query to the database to see if this username is existing with that password. And now when it's doing the check, it's gonna ask me to apply migrations again, which means last time when we applied the migrations, they've been only for this container, and now the container is destroyed. We fit another container which is same, it's like repository it's like Git repository. You just pin same container all the time, and when you kill it, you kill the data, you kill everything, which is very good, because that application gonna stay in time like that, never gonna change my application, or I mean nothing gonna change my application as soon as I containerize. I use that container, I use that image. So when you first do the image, docker image ls, when you first do the image, let's say this image, you do that image, and this image is gonna stay like that forever unless you change it. If you change the image, then you change everything inside, but now this image is gonna stay like that. It doesn't matter bugs or time, or it's not gonna get buggy over time, because you can kill the container and spin a new container from same image, and it is gonna have same quality as before. And this is the good thing for Docker containers. Now we have to add the persistent layer, which is called volumes. And from my agenda, I use my Docker compose override file. I've changed all the dependency, which I just remember. Now volumes, we have to add volumes in Docker compose override. Let's just find Docker compose override, which is in Docker compose. Now 1 2 2 1 2. Okay, this is wrong. No. Okay, now we have again library management, and here you have the database, which this let's say this order, this database, or whatever you put here, is overwriting your Docker compose YAML. So if I have something change, like if I write down SA password here in overwrite, it's gonna overwrite from Docker compose. I can change the password without changing here anything. I can just do in overwrite file. However, this is not the main goal of this overwrite file. It's more easy to read and write. Now I'm saying that I'm adding db, which is already here. Actually, you're overwriting db from your YAML file here, and you add volume. Volume name is libdata and is in var opt mssql, which is in your container. Is your, don't get wrong here with your Windows system, because this is the actual database inside the container, and here you are declaring the volumes, which is in our situation is libdata. you're just gonna say I use that volumes. You can have a list of 10 or 15 or many more volumes here in that. They have to be here declared. And if you have many databases, you should declare them here, which in our Lection 54 is somewhere I think is 2 or 3. It's even more. Big applications can go up. If it's microservices, you can have 10-15 different database, because this is normal for microservices. Now let's stop talking and start running. Now, as soon as we register now, we're gonna have persistent layer. Now I'm gonna register with the username, password. I'm gonna just generate some password and put this one. I'm gonna copy the password, so I'm not gonna forget it. Update. Now I'm gonna apply migrations, which is applying into our volume container. Now we have everything on place. I can use the program completely, no problems. Now when I stop it and I stop the containers, then I close solution. Okay. Now I'm gonna check if I have any running containers, and I don't have any. Now when I start the solution again, we're gonna have a persistent layer, because let me see. Okay, look, volumes and lib date, this container is here, and we have that volumes in place. Now we can do Docker compose. Okay, let me check. Okay, I'm still in. Now when I try to log in, I got it. I don't have to register again. I got it. So we have that persistent layer of data now, and we can do that as many times as we want. I can enter one member. Let's say I'm gonna enter myself. That's my real number and my real address. You guys are welcome in my home. Just give me a call. Create. Now we have that user, and now I'm not gonna go that deep to enter into container like he did in Lection 54. I can go into the container and I can see the database, I can see the user, I can see the members, I can see everything there, but I'm not gonna go that deep. If you want to learn, you can learn from the Lection 54, which I give credit to. Now when I stop the application, I'm gonna, okay, this is different. I'm gonna close the solution, and I'm gonna check if I have any container spinning. No, I don't. And now I'm gonna do the application again. Docker compose. Now this one can be avoided, yeah. I mean, it's not the way you have to do it, because in real life you should have your SSL certificates on place, and I'm not gonna do that at the moment. I'm just gonna say every time I'm gonna say accept the risk and continue. So now when I try to log in, I still have my and members. I have Georgi Dragomirov here, and my persistent layer is running. I've checked it twice. So now next step is the ports. Okay, so I've tried yesterday to run on port 443, which is HTTPS port in container. Now the port in your container is not the port of your program, so you are just, as every machine is exposing port 80, which is normal. And when I try to run this Docker Compose in my Raspberry Pi, I always get a problem with certificates, which I've tried to hard code. And let's say from my agenda here, we use a file which is named localhost, then I hard code this one, I generate certificates with these commands, and I then convert them, verify them, I trust them, and it's very complicated procedure. It's very complicated, and is a big rabbit hole there. Is a big rabbit hole, and I've just avoided this problem. In the end, I got my output localhost cert okay, but it takes me like a day to do that, to do that mockup, and I don't really have time for this video now because it's already 37 minutes, and I may do that a different time, but at the moment we're just gonna run on port 80 just to avoid all that hassle. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove port 443, we're gonna remove here as well, and I'm gonna run on port 5001 on my application, because this is the container, and this you actually connect port 80 of the container to port 5001 on your local machine, because container itself is virtual machine, and that's your real machine. And now when I'm trying to connect with the real world, I'm gonna connect with port 5001. Port 80 is only for internal use, let's say. Now I'm gonna save this one, and what I have to do now. Now I'm gonna check now if everything is running. Should be running on port 5001 now. Also I may have to, yeah, now we are running on localhost 5001. We still have our persistent layer. We still have our persistent layer of data. We still have our member Georgi. This is not problem at all. Doesn't matter if this is now HTTP, because on our local machine this is running on 5001 on 80 on our virtual machine, and that doesn't really matter because it's for internal use, and you can generate certificates online, and this is not a problem at all. It's now just for learning purposes. Now we have our program up running with our ports configured and our database, persistent database. the next step we have to do is upload on Raspberry Pi. Now oh, don't do that. Okay, as soon as I save here, now I'm gonna pause the video, and let's say now I have my application here in source repos here. Now I'm gonna copy this file, and I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna copy library management into USB memory stick, and I'm gonna put it in the Raspberry Pi now. So I'm gonna resume the video after that. Hi, so now I've copied all the files. I mean, maybe I don't have to show you how to copy files into USB memory stick. That's why I've skipped that step. Now I'm gonna open my PowerShell, and I'm gonna try to connect my Raspberry Pi. We have a video, like 3-4 lections. I can see which one is that, to be honest. So now in this list we have a video which is called Server on Headless Raspberry Pi, and you can check this out to see my progress since now. Is same. I'm just picking up the Raspberry Pi like I left it on that video, honestly. And now what we have to do is we have to connect to that Raspberry Pi, which is headless. And to do that, you're gonna use your terminal or PowerShell is SSH, then Pi. This is the, don't confuse here, because this is the username is Pi by default. You can change that on your Raspberry Pi. I didn't. It's just for internal use, so I'm not gonna bother to change this one. And then you write your local IP address on your machine, which in my situation is 192.168.0.21. It's going to ask me for password. If you're connecting for first time, it's gonna ask you, are you sure you want to connect to this remote machine? Then you're gonna just type yes, and you're gonna be on the same page as me now. I'm gonna write down my password, and now I'm in. I know it's a bit laggy inside. Now ls. Now I have a Docker installed, which is not running. I mean, no containers are running on this Docker at the moment. Now I'm gonna follow my instructions now on my agenda. Now I mounted USB. This is to check where exactly your USB is mounted. Wow. Now this is your hard drive, which in our situation on Raspberry Pi is memory stick again. It's a micro SD card. Now we have SDB1, which is our USB memory, Voyager 30. So we are looking for SDB1 in our situation. Now we're gonna update, and which is maybe updated, should be. Now we're gonna if you have exFAT drivers for your USB, you use this one. If not, you use this one, which is NTFS, but is covering FAT drivers as well. I mean, FAT drivers don't need drivers anyway. So you're gonna check the locations, which is with this command. Now when you check the location, you need to look for that ASDB1, which is our ASDB1 here. That's why we run the first command to see where is our memory. It's here, so we just take this one as a reference, and we see it here, and is mounted in dev ASDB1. Now you have to create a folder. In Linux you can't just mount image, like right click and mount. You have to create a folder called wherever. It's called my disk at the minute here, so doesn't really matter how you're gonna call it. It's existing because I did that before. Now you're gonna mount that image, and so SDA1, in last time when I use it, it was SDA1. Now it's SDB1. Now you have to just write down SDB, whoops, yeah, SDB1, and now what's going on? Okay, it's still seen here. When I press my arrows, it's just getting me on the top of the page. Actually, the last row is on the bottom, which should be like that. So now when I press enter, I'm gonna have my my USB mounted into that directory. Now we can search the folder. This is not a problem. You can search the folder, and I see library management here now. Now I have to go to this folder actually. I'm gonna have cdls. Now my folder is here. MNT is not really good seen, so cd mount ls or dir. Okay, this is visible now. My disk, now I have to go to my disk. Now use dir. I have library management, system, volume information. Now I go to library management folder, and now I'm in. Now I have my Docker here now. So because I've changed, if you guys don't change your port and you leave it with HTTPS, you're gonna experience Kestrel problem here, because Kestrel is looking for certificates beforehand and is not starting the program, which I don't know, might be the case here now, but yesterday I've tried first, and then I have to remove the memory, I have to remote develop and stuff like that. Is very complicated. Now in my suggestions, now I'm in the folder and I don't have any containers running. If I just say docker compose app, should run my application. It make couple of minutes. Yeah, now this one is now running. It's not in the touch mode. It's not in the touch mode. Now let me check. So I'm gonna go to 192 and 5001, which is running now. Everything is fine. I should be able to log in, maybe. Yep. Okay, this is not gonna work. No. because no type was specified. Okay, this is because of this dependency file which I've showed before, and now SQL cannot find the database. We have some problems here which are really my internal problems. I'm gonna stop the server, or I'm not gonna stop the server now, but at least I have this deployed now, and the application is working. If this is Raspberry Pi problem at the minute, I think, or is my database problem with tables. To be honest, I didn't find that problem, but for learning purposes I don't stop here, because I've shown how to do the persistent layer volume, and now I deploy it. Now the next step is to configure the network. Now I'm gonna pause my video here just to bring my router password. Right, so now we're gonna have probably most of the routers are on this IP address. You just type your router or your IP address here in the browser, and you are inside. I'm using Virgin Media, I'm in England, so I'm gonna type in my password. So is incorrect. Let me check again. Let me see. Okay, I found my password, and I'm gonna save it. Now every router is different, and you're gonna find your port forwarding. Now sorry, first of all, to set up okay, let it respond, give it time. Now first of all, to respond my Raspberry Pi to have a persistent persistent IP address, I use my MAC address. So this is my Raspberry Pi 3 and this is my Raspberry Pi 4. Every time when I run this Raspberry Pi, is running on this port no matter what, and is running on this IP address, because physical MAC address is same all the time. Router see it and just assign it to this IP address every time. Now about port forwarding, because on my Raspberry Pi 4 I'm running on 5001. Now I have to say, okay, now the rules are, when someone approach your IP address, let's say my IP address is 192.168. Actually, what is my IP? This is how everyone should check it. So when someone write down your IP address, port number, you can do whatever you want here. So I say 69585, yeah. Now when someone write this one, you have to forward. Now if I press enter, didn't match any documents, and that's normal because this is not existing now. Now we're gonna make it exist with port forwarding on my IP address, and I'm gonna make a new rule. So my local IP is gonna be 21, local start port is 5001 and 5001. External start port, this is where this goes. Now Now if I put this port here, because I just, this is random number, doesn't really matter for me now, doesn't really matter. Now when you approach this port, you're gonna use TCP protocol and you're gonna enable it. Now you add that rule port. Oh yeah, it was 65. Okay, this is my bad. Yeah, so let's say 45823. As I say, it doesn't really matter. Now I'm gonna do this one and this one. Now I'm gonna add the rule. The rule already exists. Really? I didn't see that though. 5000. Where is, yeah, here it is. So this is the port. Now I've done that rule before. Now this one is the external port. Now when I write this one, I'm not doing something right. Okay, let me delete that one. I maybe do something wrong here. Delete. I'm gonna put smaller port, something like 1650. I don't want to be that complicated. I'm still new, I'm still learning. Now this is external port, this is internal port, and that's my local IP address. I'm gonna make TCP protocol, or I'm gonna make a bot, yeah, and I'm gonna on. Now give it some time. Am I still recording? Yes. Now what was that port number? 1650. Now I should not type this one here. I should type it here. Now I'm in, and I'm in from outside. I'm not in locally, I'm in outside. Now what left next is to put this port, this IP address to my web domain, and this is the final step which I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna dig my passwords and I'm gonna come back in a second. So I'm back. I found out my password. Now when I type lice.co.uk, which is my domain name, this domain is already registered. Now I just have to write lice.co.uk and I'm gonna write down my password and I'm gonna try to sign in. So this is the web domain service which I use. It's some, I don't know, it's co.uk, I don't know, it might be .com as well, myexist.com. I never do that research. I've just researched which are the best or top 10 in UK, trusted, and then you have all that researches and stuff which other people do. Now I have this domain, buy it for me. I mean, this is for my blog to do eventually. This is my other project, which is on my Raspberry Pi 3. However, I have this one now. As I say, this is very cheap. It's £1 per year, so I don't bother to buy a couple of them. Just make my own studies, make my own experiments. I'm still learning. I'm still beginner. I still have a lot of stuff to do. Now, what we have to do is we have to use this domain now, and we have to do the destination. Now you have to forward the visitors of your domain to a different website. Now you can use create website, connect, but you have to use their own premise services with their web creators or stuff like that. You can do your name server for your domain. You can connect to external page or social media. You can list your domain for sale. Let's say I can list it for £5,000. If someone is stupid enough to buy it, that's it, no problem. I can do email address. This is paid service. Mail Basic. You can use your email. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna forward my domain, and I'm just gonna put my where it is here. So this is my external, which is gonna be http // Now, as I said, you can do your HTTPS if you know how to do your certificates and stuff like that. I don't know yet, and I've made some stuff, but I'm not confident enough. It might be another video. I'm not confident enough yet to do it. So this is your HTTP. To use SSL encryption, it must be enabled for the forwarding destination. HTTP redirect, and I'm gonna save. Now you can easily create a website. Okay, I can, but I don't want. So now this is my target. Now I have to mention here, if I write down analyzed.co.uk, now it's gonna run my website, but it's gonna be default site. Yeah, you have to like touch up here and there. It might be somewhere adjust arbitrary. I don't know what it is. Too much. The internet tries to appear in your browser address. Automatically later meant to the destination domain. However, the internet address of your mail will still remain visible in your browser address bar as the content is displayed in frame. Page title. What is this? I don't know what it is. This is just randomly. So analyzed default site. Come on. Don't do that to me. Now this is how you do. You forward your IP address to your domain. You have to do some adjustment here and there. It's not a big deal. I did that here, gpdprograms.com. Now I don't have that default page, whatever it is. I'm just gonna check now. I'm gonna check just to make sure. So this is my redirect. I didn't do anything different, just the main forwarding, arbitrary, also set, everything is by default. Cool. Now destination, let me check. Let me check here. Now redirect, active, additional, adjust destination. I didn't do anything here. Adjust forwarding. So this is same. Now I don't know, maybe, oh, I remember, it was something temporarily, because it was doing the same problem here. Yeah, I think it was doing the same problem here, and after that just disappear. Maybe we have to just update and stuff like that. Now this controller is really getting on my nerves. However, now it's done, it's up and running. You may not use this Ionos, you can use something else. There is a good research around for the best domain names, domain services. You can search, you can make your own research, and you can set up your own web page. Now you know how. You need only Raspberry Pi, or you can do with server. I don't mind. Raspberry Pi is lower on electricity and is good for learning purposes. Is not really the best. This website is not gonna be used, or if it's gonna be used, it's gonna be used just for a small amount of people, while big sites, they probably need a big server for a load, and also for database. If you need a big database, you need a lot of hard drives and stuff like that. Then you go for redundancy, and have a lot of stuff going on around. But for learning purposes, I think Raspberry Pis are perfect, because you can touch this development in your hands for 30-50 pounds, and this very good deal. Now I'm gonna have this one up and running for days, and it's not gonna be any problems at all. So that's it. I've shown what I know. I have some edges to cut here and there. To this persistent layer is now not running on my Raspberry Pi. It might be my problem, it might be a Raspberry Pi problem. It was running on my machine, like everyone else said. It's running on my machine. It's not running on Raspberry Pi now. I don't know why. But yeah, this is it. Thank you very much. See you next time.